Ep3 popped up. Paint's pretty shot, but it looks like a Virgin. And I'm interested. So I'm gonna try to snag it. If I do, I will show you.
What are you doing?
Now, alright, today's video, guys, is going to be on the Ep3, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. There's a number of things I want to do before this car is ready to sell, which this car is really not a build for the channel that's going to stick around. It's just, I had to save it, man. Somebody got it running, got it to their shop, got it titled, and just basically that's all they wanted to do. They kind of sort of wanted to save it as well. I'm sure they flipped it, but I'm just collecting it to bring it back to performance life, because it is not in the best performance right now. Mainly suspension wise, guys, this car is bone stock, other than these ugly wheels that got put on probably from like Rent Center or something. Got new tires, but yeah, she's pretty much stock. I forget, it's hard to pop the hood. Should have done that, should have been ready. But yeah, it's a bone stock Civic Si 2003 model, aka Ep3. Just kind of introducing it to the channel, and actually I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to work on here in a minute, because I got the car, I'd say a month ago, I think. Anyways, I got the car and sat on it basically, other than when I picked this car up, it had a battery light, wasn't charging. Battery died after a test drive around the block, and before that the guy had the wheels off and accidentally let some fluid out of the brake lines too in the middle of bleeding it. Had to quit that job, so it ended up sitting with air in the lines. So I managed to get it on the trailer, borrowing a battery from him, but as soon as I got to my storage, I bought a new battery, bled the brakes, drove it around, and it drove good, but it had an alternator light still, was not charging. So I got on eBay, instead of getting the OEM rebuilt, I got on eBay, put a brand new alternator, and it said Auto Parts Geek. They had 100% reviews, and so I put the voltmeter, and it is charging. But look, battery light stayed on. So really haven't had that happen. I'm pretty sure it was just a bad rebuild of the alternator, because it is just a refurbished alternator. But other than that, I filled the AC, so it's pretty cold now. Stock electric power steering on these cars, factory 5-speed OEM shifter. Yeah, other than the wheels, this is actually an OEM gold color, but it is severely sun damaged, as you can see. So I might try to do a little bit of paint correction. I really don't have too much skills in paint correction. I'm just learning how to buff, so maybe I'll buff a few spots, see if there's some spots worth saving. Other than that, I may pull panels here and there to see who can get me some gold samples to match this paint color, and at least do the hood and bumper and trunk, since those are removable, and then see if someone can quote me on a Mohawk, or maybe I can do the Mohawk, because the Mohawk is the most sun beat thing on most cars. This is down south Texas, so even if you have a light colored car, literally the color of the sun. So I just ended up getting full bodies for the Ep3, and I have some wheels for it, but they might get sold. So either way, guys, it's really not an upgrade, it's more of a maintenance item, because these struts completely shot. Let me show you how bouncy this car is. I'll set y'all up on the tripod, and y'all will see why it at least needs some form of new suspension, because guys, it is bad. In this clip I had music playing, so I was just basically showing to the camera how bouncy it is. Alright, I'm gonna try to like maneuver it where you can see how bouncy it is. Right off the rip, I'll do this one. Yeah, I just keep bouncing this blow strut. Okay, just keep shaking. It's gonna be terrible. Drag's terrible. Alright, got the car centered in the driveway so I can jack her up and have room to work on both sides. But it's so hot outside. Set up a little canopy. There's like no wind either, so I'm not trying to bake the rest of the way. I'm already overdone, well done, burnt, crispy. Don't need no more sun damage. Here's to the car. If I had paint, I'd be peeling, but I'm so dark I just don't even feel. Just straight burnt. Ooh, all right, it's a toasty one out, guys. About 100-degree heat index. Got my Academy tent back in action. So this ain't gonna be a how-to, guys. I might even time-lapse it. I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, let me get out the parts. What's going on, guys? Here are the Rev 9 coilovers that I went and purchased on eBay. No sponsorship, just me and my full-time job. And yeah, I went with these because they're not the cheapest. I didn't want to go with the cheapest of the cheap and have it ride mediocre, so hopefully it rides firm. As y'all saw the video how bouncy this thing is, yeah, I don't want it to be bouncing like that. So here we are, the Rev 9 Hyper Street Basic full body coilovers with, it looks like it has some damping, so I might be able to tune them a little bit, but mainly doing it just for the gas strut style. Should be a lot firmer with a new spring. Full body coiler should just be a lot better riding than the blown suspension. So this thing has stand up there in the pitch weld. I'm just gonna go corner by corner, even though I might have to jack it up and adjust it again. But so the only good thing about factory suspension is they usually come with a decent amount of travel. I just do what I do. Hopefully it works. Labor is definitely not my strong point. I'd rather sit in the seat and tune away from the laptop. But can't afford to pay someone to do this. And there's probably nobody that wants to do this, so here we are. I guess this is kind of traditional, more in the domestic world, I guess. I think this is McPherson is what they call it. But anyways, the knuckle is tiny. Well, actually the steering knuckle is a part of the whole assembly. I forget what you call this. I don't know if it's a strut or a shock, but the whole assembly has a above rack like RSX's. That's what you even call that. So it spins the whole spindle, which is attached to the coilover system, and basically that causes a lot of the bump steer, because when this hits shock, it hits the rack, and you know, any of that bump steer is going to get transferred into that. But yeah, there's no upper arm, which is why I hate it, mainly because any of the geometry changes goes into the steering knuckle, into the freaking steering rack, which is trash. So you got this weird lower control arm, which bone bushing guys, I probably don't know if I'm gonna fix that, but I will obviously be honest and upfront with what you're getting when this thing is for sale. I'm not doing a full resto or nothing like that. I don't have time or money to do that. I'm just addressing these completely blown shocks or struts. I think they're shocks since it's McPherson. I'm trying not to get too tied up on my terminology, guys. Don't take like everything I say, like quote unquote everything I say, because I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. I just ramble. But yeah, they have these ugly lower control arms, which that's not even the way a bushing should have to work at max compression. That was just engineered to tear. That one there seems like it'd be a good idea, but they should both be like that. But since there's no upper A arm, yeah, they basically try to stabilize the caster through that one and the camber, I guess, through that one, or the up and down motion, and then nothing really affects like natural camber, I guess. So the spindle basically will go up and down only, which in theory is a comfortable ride, right? But I honestly like natural camber because I don't have to rely on upper top hats to adjust camber. I could just slam my shit and it already have good negative camber, which if you're racing, sometimes negative camber can be beneficial. And well, depends what you're building. But yeah, rambling on again, 9 minutes, and I'm just showing you guys suspension. Might just use this might just use this video and audio over this because I haven't done nothing but talk. But yeah, let's get out the front one. Let's get out one of the front. I don't know if they're left and right. Let's see on here. But yeah, it comes with the piece of a kind of spindle. Well, it's not really a spindle, but it's kind of piece of something. I don't really know what you call this. I know this is basically the steering knuckle because this is the knuckle that comes off of it, but these actually have tiny little spindles. Little spindle. So this is the full body Rev 9 coilover, non-adjustable camber, but this does have to rotate just because when you steer, the steering knuckles are part of the freaking suspension, which is trash in my opinion. But yeah, let's get this one off. I guess I'm gonna tripod y'all because I haven't even done this, so I'm gonna have to maybe time lapse it. It's gonna take me a while. All right, I'm gonna go fetch the tools, but basically you got these 3 bolts here, and we got 2 bolts down there, and then we got the tie rod, and then whatever's gonna hang, I need to hang up. Somebody's calling me. All right, so I went to go grab the tools, and then I started breaking stuff loose without showing y'all. So I needed a 19 to get the 2 spindle bolts loose, and they're actually, I thought these were gonna be like weld-on nuts back here. Where the heck did they go? Huh. Well, I zapped those off, right? And there were like these huge 22 millimeter nuts that came with the spindle. So zap those loose. I need to get a pair of dikes and remove this cotter pin, get that loose, and then hang up whatever's gonna fall. And then it should just be these 3 14s up here. And then this, I try to call the stock suspension the coilover assembly, but it's not. It's just a, whatever you want to call it, a suspension. Yeah, I had these big 22 millimeter nuts on those 19 millimeter head bolts, like that. But I just broke those loose since I already had the 19 on the impact. And then I gotta find whatever this is. But yeah, we're making way. I'm gonna put you on the tripod because I got a phone call, so I got the phone in my hand now. What's up, guys? I got one of the rear coilovers, and it's actually even easier. It's just 1 bolt on the bottom and 2 on the top. So the rears just drop on right out. Yeah, and I didn't even notice that they come with dampers. So we can have a little bit of adjustability. But yeah, I'm gonna get these thrown in the rear and then I'll show y'all the car. I'm not gonna slam the car, so don't expect the car to be dirt nasty low, but it's gonna ride a lot firmer than blown suspension. Shoot up. Alright guys, I got the Ep3 coilovers installed. I did not lower the car. I want to break in the coilovers at pretty much factory height, which I am happy I was able to set it at factory height. That way I can break in the suspension with full travel and then see how they feel. I have the dampers on full soft so I can ride nice and comfortable. The only thing I hope is it doesn't bounce on soft. I know those springs are firmer and the struts are going to be brand new and they're gas filled. They're not these OEM whatever air shock crap. But yeah, I'm gonna test drive this thing and I'll let y'all know how she feels. All right guys, it's the next day and I got the Ep3 on all fours, but I shot for stock ride height, right? It's not lowered, as you can tell. It's not really lowered at all. The rear, I almost got it perfectly OEM height. The front lowered slightly, but it's not in any way slammed or anything. But look at this wheel. This wheel is towed way out. And I was wondering why it came with new end links for the tie rods. I think they're longer. So yeah, I'm gonna have to throw these on, see if they correct the alignment at all, because I went for a test drive last night. This thing was screeching. Like, look how straight this one is. See, the wheel's straight right now, right? This wheel is like almost towed out a little. And then this one is just fighting. They were fighting out and it's self-steering a lot. So I'm gonna throw these on for you and we'll see how she rides, but I'm still gonna get alignment tomorrow either way. All right, I'm back. I lost my tools. Story of my life, if I'm being honest. Forever losing tools. Wheels off. Let me check it. All right, so I was wondering why in the bag of the Rev9 coilovers. What in the world? I hope my camera's not overheating because the screen looks like it's lagging. All right, I was trying to say, hold on, let me take y'all at 60. All right. I was trying to say that the Rev9 coilovers came with new tie rod ends, and I was thinking maybe the joint was different diameter, but the OEM joint went in nice and firm into the steering knuckle on the coilovers. So I think maybe what actually happened is they may have changed the geometry, or they're just assuming since you're gonna break these loose, may as well put new ones. I'm not sure. But anyways, after installing the coilovers, the alignment is absolutely trashed. It's towing out so hard, couldn't go over 20 miles an hour without it screeching. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap these ends in and kind of eyeball the alignment until I take it to the appointment tomorrow. All right, hopefully y'all can see that tie rod end right there. I'm about to try to get off. Well, I was gonna zap the tie rod end loose, but I need to check what the jam nut is first. Yeah, it looks like, man, 22. What do you know? It's not a 22. It's even bigger. honestly not even gonna measure what the lengths are right now because I don't think it even will help me. Oh, awesome, it's a 24. Yeah, 24. Now I'm assuming these are original. Using a 24 millimeter is unheard of to me on a Honda. But all I usually work on is OD1 Hondas. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Break this bad boy loose. That's on there a little bit tight. I'll tell you what. They're gonna need a cheater pipe. Well, or some muscles. Let me see if I got something to fit the end of this. Maybe I can reach it now. Get some more leverage on this bad boy. Somebody messaged me, but I ain't got time for it. I'm assuming I have to go this way. And sure enough, that made it work for me. Time to do some sketchy stuff. Look like get away with stuff. Can't say that video that I'm referring to. Come on, little buddy. Oh yeah. Just needed a better angle for the dangle. You know what I'm talking about? Didn't just destroy my arm, but alright, now that the jam nut is loose, now I'm gonna break the tie rod loose, because if I'd have broken this loose, popped it out, I would have needed two things to hold the tie rod in for breaking the jam nut loose. That would have been way more fun, right guys? Wrong. I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to make money. My wife always says, you just want to go outside and play with the cars. You know what? I wish that were the case. This is my job. To fix these puppies up and sell them. I tell you what, this ain't my own car. And I'm kind of glad it ain't, because I wouldn't even do this if it was. Well, I know someone's going to say, we're going to have a car dependent. That's because I took it apart yesterday, and I was going to put new ones anyways at the alignment shop. Alright, let's see how tight these yokes are. I don't need a sledge, and just a little nice ball peen action will get her loose. Now I use a flat side. Destroyed all the paint on my brand new coilovers. Look at that. And now we can spin off this old end here. Take a look at her. And basically the jam nut is probably where the tie rod was. So it doesn't matter, it needs an alignment either ways. But if you're ever replacing OEM with OEM just because of torn boot, like preventative maintenance, before you go to the alignment shop, if you leave that jam nut right where your OEM part is, if you put it right where that jam nut was, you may be pretty close on your alignment, and you can go to the alignment rack without worrying about screeching your tires. But always give her a good eyeball from the front, see if your tires are toe in or out. But I wanted to see them side by side, and they look pretty much the same. The geometry looks the same, so basically if our alignment wasn't too bad, I'd be going with this tie rod end to the the same location, but I'm not worried about it because it needs an alignment like really bad. But let me go ahead and stop rambling and slide this on there. I'm gonna go all the way to the jam nut. And actually, I know this one was actually towed out a lot. So I'm gonna go all the way in with this and see what that does. I towed it in a lot more than it was previously. Just because I know this sucker was really out of the video got cut short at 7 minutes because I ran out of storage. Anyways, all y'all missed was me sliding the tie rod on, tightening it down to German specs, good and tight. And then I actually said a lot about the cotter pin, but basically was saying how my instructor would laugh at people if they just left the cotter pin with all the excess legs, like the 2 legs, just so I just snipped them. Just looks cleaner, but you really don't need to. But look at that. Look at that beautiful cotter pin action. It's actually like not even there. This crown nut should have actually been a lot lower, so the slot, the hole was in the slot, but it's aftermarket stuff. Beggars can't be choosers, but it is still awesome that Rev 9 coilovers came with the ends. They just probably figured, hey, you're getting a new steering joint, a steering knuckle arm, whatever you want to call it. Might as well slap in a new joint, new ball joint end. But yeah, and then just try and snug up that jam nut. Actually, I'm not gonna snug it up because I'm gonna try to do a ghetto alignment. But basically, I screwed it all the way on because this wheel was towing out. You can see it's towing in. So now, check it out, I could spin this. Wait. So if I can reach, it being adjustable from the tie rod, inner tie rod, spin this and it goes in and out kind of like a Heim joint, except the end is not a joint, it's a ball joint. I mean, it's not a Heim, it's a ball, but same theory. I don't know which size it is, but I'm gonna tow it out because now it's like towed, it's taking a left turn. And you can look at the other side, it's turned left completely. Actually, oh, I turned the wheel, I'm lying. All right, let me unlock the wheel. All right, I got the wheel straight now. Now you can see this left side was pointed fairly straight forward. Like the alignment wise, and I have the old ball joint, so I'm about to ruin it. See this one? Honestly, guys, that should have been replaced. So awesome that they give you new ball joints with purchase of Red 9 coilovers. So this one's on there. Now it's towed out completely still because actually what I did by putting it all the way in, like what a loser, I towed it in more. I mean, I'm thinking traditional style where the rack is in the front of a spindle or a steering knuckle, and I forget these are up top, and towing this in towed me out. So yeah, I just made it like way worse than it was. So basically I gotta tow it out. I mean, I gotta unscrew the tie rod end so it can give me back some is that positive toe? I don't know, whichever, but I need to turn it left. And again, guys, this is just the eyeball alignment. That way I can drive to the alignment shop and they can do it with their laser alignment. All right, so jam nut loose. All I gotta do is I got a 14 millimeter. I'm gonna spin this bad boy till I tow her out, till I can tell she's towing out, because it's like, I mean, I need to tow in. It's already towed out, so I need to I keep mistaking bringing this tie rod end outwards for towing it out, which is in the back of the spindle, so it's technically towing it back in because I towed it out way too much when I eyeballed it. Well, I just screwed the tie rod all the way on. That was the problem, so I'm just kind of eyeball towing it out or in. You see, I'm not gonna get the hang of that. Who the heck is this guy? Lowering Kit 2000. This dude, Honda Civic, a Cadillac. We're not even gonna say what that means. Y'all just gonna have to guess. And if y'all are locals, y'all probably know. Oh Lord. So, still pretty crooked. But I'm gonna keep towing this in till it looks sort of straight, since these are new ball joints. Telling the camera, put new coilovers, right? And I guess the geometry of this spindle or the like steering knuckle is different. Dude, the wheels were hella like tweaked. I'm like, man, I didn't even lower it much, maybe an inch. So now I gotta redo the alignment like before I can drive the wand, because it was like that. So I'm trying to eyeball this alignment here, because with the wheel straight, this one stayed straight. It's weird. I don't know if it's something I did, but this spindle looks straight. And then I came over here, dude, and this wheel was turning. Just trying to hook a right. Still trying to hook a right turn. And I'm just towing it in so I can have them sort of straight before I drive over there. And these are old tires, so it really doesn't matter, but I don't know how much of this vlog I'm gonna use. I'm just like, what I've noticed, I'm one of those ramblers, like, you know me, like once I get talking, I don't stop. And so I'm going to like cut a lot of footage and just, I don't really even want to like film repair work, or I just like to film racing. I need content, so might as well, right? It'll give me something to learn how to edit, you know? Maybe I'll kick bad habits or something. It's all a learning curve. So you can see right there, I towed it out almost a whole inch, or I towed in almost a whole inch, because I thought by towing this out, or by towing this in, I was bringing this in, but that's wrong because the knuckle's back here. So the opposite happens, versus, you know, some cars you tow in and out, you're doing the same thing that the direction of the spindle usually, right? Sometimes, or I might be like full of shit, but yeah. All right, guys, got these Rev9 coilovers installed. Basically stock height. I don't want to slam it or anything. This way it's up to the next owner what ride height they want. But I put the new ball joint ends, or the tie rod ends, and did a little eyeball alignment, and it stopped screeching the tires, so I should be able to drive to the alignment rack no problem now. And I had to put the coilovers, the dampening, on full hard, because I was expecting the coilovers on soft to be firmer than they were, but I had them on full soft, so I guess that was on me. But I fully stiffened them out just so I could ride the way I would expect coilovers to ride. But yeah, I'll get back with you after the alignment.